a whole list of things here which I've detailed on the board here. But first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Mary Hodges, and if there are any questions following or during this training course you would like to ask me, then please just interrupt me, I don't mind that, or ask me after or during the training event. There are various ways in which you can get further information in connection to this material, which I've shared with you prior to this meeting on WhatsApp, on Google, and on reading material as well. So, I'm Mary Hodges, and I will be carrying out this presentation. The presentation and training event is likely to last for about 15 minutes. If at any time you need to go to the toilet or do anything, need a glass of water, then please let me know. The fire exits have been pointed out to you prior to this training session, so if we do hear the alarm, then you know I will guide you to the best area to go to, and we will vacate the building. Okay, the aim of this and objective of this training session is the 5 layers of the skin. So what we'll be going through is understanding each layer and what it does. It's very important that everybody understands as we go along what these layers are, and if you do have any questions, you must let me know. There are forums as well that I've created on WhatsApp, so if there's anything that you want to discuss between yourselves or bring onto the forum, that's something that I go into on a regular basis, so I will be answering any questions there. We'll be doing a question and answer quiz on the board, so that takes these two into play there, number 4 and 5, and then we will be looking at the training and you'll give me feedback as to how you felt everything's gone, and hopefully following the feedback session you'll be comfortable with yourself understanding the 5 layers. So here we go. These are some details about me and how you can contact me. Mary Hodges, my email address if anybody wants to contact me, on alanhodges@msn.com. The group forum is called Layers of the Skin. Anybody have any problems with accessing any of these platforms, then let me know, and this is my telephone number. Obviously the telephone number is during working hours, so if there's anything that you need to ask me out of working hours, there will be a delay in me responding. All of this information is on your information pack as well, so you have that detail. The main objective of this training session, as I say, is the 5 layers of the skin, and we'll be going into that at quite some depth, because I understand from the feedback that I've received from your training material that you have had AET training to a certain level proficiency. So I just want to re-establish this training platform for you. So we have 5 layers of the skin. The first layer is the epidermis, and this is the layer which is the outermost layer. This layer is the area which is exposed to sun, wind, rain, and free radicals. We then move to the stratum corneum, which is the second layer of the skin, which sits underneath the epidermis. Then we have the granular layer. The 4th layer is the spinous layer, and then we have the 5th layer, which is the basal layer. Okay, so does everybody understand that? You're okay with that?
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So just in a little bit more detail for you, the 5 layers of the skin, when we go to the epidermis, which is the outermost layer, the stratum corneum. This information is in your booklet, so you will be able to see these details. But if you want to take notes, by all means take notes, that's absolutely fine. The outermost layer of the skin is exposed to atmosphere outside of your body. These are actually dead skin cells, actually. So when you're exfoliating your skin, you're trying to get rid of those. They cause a dullness on the skin, so it's best really to just get rid of that. Rather like a snake that sheds its skin that we don't need anymore. So then we go to the stratum lucidum, and it's only found in thick skin, this, on the palms of hands and soles of feet. So it's a very thick type of layer that protects you, because obviously our hands and feet we're using all the time, and it needs to be a lot stronger than the rest of the skin that we have on our body. So it's purpose built for that reason. We then come to the third layer, which is the stratum granulosum, or the granular layer. Now, in some cases, it's really good that you can actually have two references here for the same layer, because some of these words are very long and they are quite difficult to pronounce. Can
I ask a question?
Yes, of course, Lauren.
With them, can you use both of them in like a technical term when you like speaking to clients and stuff? Can you use stratum granulosum or granular layer
yes,
when you're describing it to a client?
Yes, you can. That's a really good point actually, because some clients would prefer it to be at a more basic level as well. So just either of these terms are absolutely perfect for clients to understand. So good point there. So when we come to the third layer, and we'll call this one the granular layer, it makes your skin waterproof and helps to hold in moisture. So it's very important for our skin that it is waterproof. Otherwise, you know, our skin would just not absorb it and we would have problems. So it's essential that we have a situation with our skin that we have something that retains moisture as well and keeps it waterproof. So moving on to the fourth layer of the skin. This is the stratum spinosum, or the spinny layer, I like to call it, because again, this is one of these words which is quite hard to pronounce. And like you said before, Lauren, if you wanted to use this more simplified version of the same layer of the skin, meaning you can. And this gives the layer of the skin, the dermis, its strength. The dermis is just another name for skin as well, so you understand that. Then we'll move to number 5, which is the stratum basal, or the basal layer. Again, you can actually use the basal layer here. I'm just going to change that to an A and an E there. And that's the innermost layer of the skin. Okay, so you can't see any of these layers underneath, but they are there. This layer, on the 5th layer, the basal layer, is production of melanin, giving the skin colour. Also receptors for sense of touch in hot and cold, which is essential that you have that response on your hands. You know, if you touch something that's hot, immediately you can move away so you don't burn yourself.
Can I ask another question?
Yes,
sorry. I can't remember which one the second layer was. Are you okay to just go over that again, the second layer?
Yeah,
That's
of course. Okay. Yeah. So the second layer is just under the epidermis. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at this again, the stratum lucidum. Okay. So this is generally found on the hands and the feet. Okay. And it's the only part really of the layers of the skin that you find this layer. So it's very, very important, and it's one that you can remember if you think of hands and feet. It refers to the second layer. Okay. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Perfect. So is everyone clear on the layers of the skin there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So I'm going to do a little bit of a test here. So if anybody would like to just let me know, this is a diagram of the skin. So just like we went through before, we've got numbers 1 to 5. This is the outermost part of the skin, and this is the innermost part of the skin. So when you look at the diagram here, this area here is number 1, and then we've got the black being number 2, and this is the 3, the blue, and the green is 4, and the red is 5. Excuse me. And within these are the way the cells are actually set up in the skin. So you can see there. It's a rough sketch, so it's not a precise drawing. This again will be in your information pack, so you do have this information to hand, and it's something that I would suggest you have a look through and try yourself to cover up the definition of each layer and practice so that you get to know which layer is. So can anyone give me an idea as to any of these layers here and which refer to these layers of the skin? Is there anybody that would like to participate here?
So the first one's the epidermis.
That's good, that's right.
And then the second one is the stratum lucidum.
That's correct, perfect. And with that one, the stratum lucidum, where do we normally find that?
On the hands and the feet, where
Perfect.
it's thicker skin to protect.
Yes.
It, so
Yeah,
it's
that's great. That's correct. So, any more?
I can't really remember which layer it is, but the granular layer, it's either 3 or 4.
Okay. Can you remember any of the others?
The 5th one is the basal layer.
Okay, the basal layer.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put this one as the basal layer. Now, one of these is responsible for the melatonin. Does that give you an idea?
Is that the granular layer?
The granular layer. Yeah. If we just come back here, the innermost is the basal layer, which you've got right. Okay. So then we look at the area which gives the dermis its strength.
Yeah.
Which is the 4th layer.
The spiny layer.
The spiny layer, exactly. So
Okay.
number 4 is the spiny layer. And what's an indicator here is when you get spiny, you can always think of strength.
Yeah.
That sort of helps you there. And then the 3rd layer is the one that you mentioned before.
The granular layer.
The granular layer. And that's responsible for the colour of the skin.
Melanin.
The melanin, that's right. That's exactly right. So there we have all the layers there. So that's really well done there. So what we're going to do, I've handed out a quiz to you, which gives you all the information that we've just worked through, and I just want you to work in pairs to go through that. And then as soon as you've got the answers to all of that quiz, if you could hand it in, and then we can have a little game and see how you've done. Okay, so I'm just going to come to the very last part of my presentation, which is if you do have any questions or you need any future reference material, all of the information packs are at the back of your brochure, the material that I handed out. You've got all of the details of me if you need to get in contact with me, my numbers and also all the email addresses in the forum. Forum's there for you to really participate in, and whatever you put on there, you know, others can actually contribute. And if there's a trend of a subject going on, we can obviously talk about it and bring it to the next training event that we have. But it will be answered in the layers of the skin. So just to close everything down, I would just like to understand from you, how have you felt this training session? Do you feel comfortable with what you've learned?
Yeah, very knowledgeable, confident in what you're saying as well, and very, just very informative. So.
Great. Well, thank you for that feedback. And if there's anything that you need to help with, obviously let me know. But thanks very much for coming to this training event, and I wish you a safe journey home.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.